I don't even know if I can show it to you like that. Might have to do some finagling. I got to zoom in real quick. You see that line right there? Hold up, you see that line right there? Yo, something Wolverined my undercarriage. I know, it's been a minute. It's been far too long that I've done something on this GR Corolla. I'm gonna kind of preface this by saying this was actually done a long time ago. I shot a video about what I'm doing a long time ago. I think I have the video. I think I deleted it. It got dark. It was a mess. It was madness. So I didn't put it up. But here's what this is about. Let me go find the stock one. Okay. A while back, some of y'all probably remember. Actually, no. I'm bugging. You don't remember because I never actually said anything about it. But I did an Instagram post a long time ago showing that I bought a part from a company called Grocery Getter Performance. And what I did was I bought a rear pitch mount, right? Now, at this stage in the game, there's multiple companies that are doing this now. This ain't something new. When I did it, it was kind of fresh and new because a gentleman, Hachiburu, that I've worked with the 2J Racing exhaust, he had one of these on his old Corolla, and they were like, it's the same exact mount for the GR Corolla. So we blazed a trail. And what I'm talking about is, I don't want to lose my bubble wrap. That's what I'm talking about here. This is the rear pitch mount. So everybody that's seen this has put like a little wrench in there and shown that this little rubber bushing in this mount here moves around a lot, almost too much. What that does is you get a lot of the transmission movement when you're shifting, you're going fast, you're braking hard, all that jazz. So we replaced this guy with the one from Grocery Getter Performance that had a much stiffer bushing. The bushing that I've been running. Now, you're probably wondering, how long do you have this on? I'm not exaggerating. I've been running this bushing for, I want to say 10,000 miles. It's been on my car for so long that I clearly have a cool understanding of it. But we're going to talk about that after I put the next one on. So here's what I did. The bushing that hold on a second. Where's the bushing at? Hold on. Pause for the cause. Oh, here we go. Thought I didn't have it on me. All right, so. Dun, 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 dun. As you can see, here are some new bushings. These are 60A. I've been running 85A, which I know some people are like, dog, you've been in your car rattling like bobbleheads. But no, it's actually been, I actually like it. Is there more NVH? Yes. I'm not going to, after I'm done installing this, we're going to have a sit down and we're going to talk. But for now, I'm changing it out to 60A bushings to see how I like these. Let me show you what it looks like under this car. Now, bear with me. I'm a big dude. I can't slide under this car the same way I used to, prior to kids and marriage. Maybe I gained 50 pounds, don't sue me. All right. So as you can see, if you look, I'm going to try to get you at a decent angle somehow, some way. If I got to take this thing off okay, there you go. See that right there? GGP, Grocery Getter Performance. That is what I have on it. See it right there. So I already have it on there. I took off the main bolt. Comes with a new one. The giant bolt here. Goes from a bolt that's right there. Comes off. You take off these bolts here. These are like 30 foot-pounds. Those bolts down there and the main one under that holds them out is like 80 foot-pounds. You take this off. The old stock one would be here. I'm not going to do a tutorial on how you install this. This is fairly simple. You get off the main panel there. You get access to this. Remove the bolts. Transmission slides out. The transmission slides out. The mount slides out. And you get to business. It's very simple. Now I want to talk about something too. See, I noticed on my little guard there that there was like a gash into it. And if you look down there at the end, I don't even know if I can show it to you like that. Might have to do some finagling. I got to zoom in real quick. You see that line right there? Hold up, you see that line right there? Yo, something Wolverined my undercarriage. Okay, that plastic guard there, that's a whole entire cut down the middle. I don't know what I hit. I'm glad that plastic was there because that's what it's there for, to stop anything from taking out something of more importance. But that's a clean slice. Like I ran over something sharp and metal. And given the roads out here in Texas on these freeways, that's not far-fetched. So now that I adjusted this to a better angle, I can show you the, where the heck am I at? There you go. My gosh, I'm the worst videographer ever. There goes the mount there. I can zoom out now. I don't have to be that close. There goes the mount. Kind of a better angle. You kind of see what I'm talking about. The main bolt right there. The mount. We're gonna take all this off. Now, let me get you guys out of here. All right, so what we're gonna, oh my gosh, bro, I'm not on my game right now. Sorry guys, it's a long day. What I'm gonna do is take this off. I'm gonna put on the bushings to the other one. I might show you putting the bushings on when I get the mount out. It's gonna be like a second. I'm not gonna time lapse it. The next time you see me, that mount's gonna be on top of this garbage can and I'm gonna be taking out the old bushing. Peace. All right, just like that, we're off. Okay, here's the grocery getter performance one, right? As you can see, torque mount, 80 foot-pounds, as I said before. This is how the bushing looks, right? There are a couple companies that have different ones out. I think there's like Racer X, I believe. I don't know, I could be completely wrong. Don't quote me on that. There's another one from a gentleman called Jake. I don't know how to say his last name. Pavlicek? I don't know. He is on the GR Corolla Facebook group. He made one of these himself. His design is very nice as well. Equally all the same. They all do the same thing. Like I said, they help stop all the movement. So, dang my gosh. Bow yow. We're putting this one on. Listen, like I said, I'm gonna talk about it after, but we're putting this one on. Here's what it looks like. The next scene, you're gonna see these blue ones in there. And then we're gonna have a discussion like a family talking about what my experience has been for like 10,000 miles with an 85A bushing, and I'm jumping to a 60A. I might do a drive video. I don't got none of the mounts to put the camera up. So if I do, it's gonna be the jankiest angle you've ever seen. But you know what? That's what we do. CarQuicks, we function and flow and we adapt. I'll be back. Movie magic. Just like that, blue bushings are in. Black 85A bushings are out, and we're on our way. My bad, you ain't got nothing in the view. So, I'm about to throw it on. I mean, it's really nothing to it, just to do it. You already see how I took it off. It's fairly simple. If anybody's thinking about doing one of these rear mounts, you don't really need a giant tutorial. If you're mechanically inclined, once you get that bottom panel off, you're literally gonna see the 4 bolts and the main bolt on the going towards, horizontally. Then you're gonna see the main bolts at the end, like I talked about. It's as easy as can be. The motor, you don't got to support the motor. I just rolled my car up. You see, I just got it up on some little race ramp thingies. You don't need nothing major, okay? You can do this. So you don't need some, all-inclusive, extra wordy instructions. I'm not giving that. This is just a rear mount. The main thing is how does this car drive after? Give me some time. Let me put this on. We're going to have a discussion. We're going to have a talk. I might drive somewhere else and pull up and do a little video for you or something. But we're going to have a discussion. We're going to talk about what this is like. I'll be back. Okay. All right. I said I would come over here and have a discussion with y'all about what it is I was doing, okay? And here I am to have that discussion. So, I'm out of breath because I was busy putting all the equipment back and all the tools and stuff, so bear with me. So here's how it goes, all right? No, I did not do an entire tutorial. I'm trying to make sure I'm still in frame because I'm looking at the camera lens and I don't really want to make sure I'm not out of it. Okay, so here's the thing. I didn't do a whole tutorial on how to put the rear mount on because I think it's a little unnecessary. Not that I haven't done videos that you can consider unnecessary. because ultimately you don't got to watch any of these, right? I'm going to do what I want to do. So I didn't do the rear mount video because really it's difficult in that angle I was at, and really my explanation of what this is and why people do this will be better served than me showing you how to take off a few bolts. It's extremely easy. Easier than me doing the bushings for the shifter. Easier than probably putting on an intake. Extremely easy. So I'll reiterate. Get under your GR Corolla. Remove the little panel that covers over where you change the oil. The entire panel, not just the oil piece. You'll see the rear mount in the rear. There's 4 bolts that go to the block. The mount is obviously attached to that. Take off the bolt that is the main one in the center. There's one that's going across horizontally. And remove the entire whole assembly. Replace it with whatever mount you bought. Like I said, I bought one from Grocery Getter Performance. They are very good. The mount I bought is full of aluminum, high quality build. Like I said, there's a gentleman named Jake. I'm butchering his name, which is mad disrespectful. So I'll just say Jake P. If you're on the GR Corolla forums, if you're on the GR Corolla Facebook group, the Verified Corolla one, he is on there and he does amazing work. He has made a pedal spacer to make it easier to heel and toe. He's made this pitch mount. He's working on a rear a rear strut bar situation that looks fire. I'll be buying that one, but I digress. So the rear mount, I say pitch mount, rear trans mount. I don't know what term actually applies here necessarily. Maybe they all do. I'm just going to say rear mount, rear pitch mount, because we're talking about the pitch of the motor going back and forth when you're shifting, when you're hard braking. It cleans all of this up. So why do anybody want to do this? Why does it matter? Why can't y'all just keep the car stock? How are y'all going to change what the Toyota engineers did? Are y'all engineers? No, we're not. We're not engineers. We're car enthusiasts. We like to modify stuff. Maybe it goes well, maybe it doesn't. This went really well. So let me explain to you what I did. Grocery Getter Performance had this mount out. I bought one that had an 85A bushing. Now, if the numbers don't make any sense, I'll keep it simple. The higher the number, the stiffer the bushing is. The lower the number, the softer it is. And if you're going to go by numbers, I had 85A, which is towards the top. There is 90A. I'm sure there's... Then you get all the way to a solid bushing, which is just, metal. I had an 85A, and I switched it to a 60A. 60A is above the factory. I don't know what the factory one is. I believe I heard somebody say it's like 40 or 50A, or I don't hold me to it. I don't know the full information on that, but we're talking about the aftermarket version of it. So I had the 85A. I've been running that for like 10,000 miles. I never talked about it because the original video I shot for it was a janky mess. Because the first time I was doing it, it got dark. I had to hustle and grind. I tried to have the camera set up looking at what I was doing. It was at some funky angle. I was sweating. It was hot. It was mosquitoes. It wasn't a good look, okay? Your boy was not at his best. And I like to present in a way where you can understand what I'm saying coherently and you can understand what I'm enunciating. And when I did that video, I was just trying to get through it. So that video is somewhere. If I happen to find the footage, I might have deleted it already. I'll throw it in here and you'll see a quick little snippet. If not, I ain't got it. All right, my bad. So I put that mount on about 10,000 miles ago. And since then, I have been riding this car with that mount. One of the things that it's going to do, because it's stiffening up the bushing, that allows a lot of movement from the engine. Like I said, this is to improve the feel of the shifts, to improve the feel of hard braking, to improve the feel of the engine movement, to reduce it almost to the point where you don't have that feeling where if you're shifting really fast or you're letting off the gas, you don't get so much drivetrain movement. You still probably get a little bit. I felt it myself, but it has drastically reduced with this mount. I mean, night and day from the point of the OEM one to the Grocery Getter one or any other mount that you use. And the bushing stiffness relates to how much movement it allows it to do. So obviously the higher the stiffness or the rating on it, let's say 85A, the less it allows movement when it comes to how the engine is moving back and forth when you're shifting on the transmission. So most people in their head would say, well, I don't want really any movement. I want to feel this thing rock solid. So they're going to go for the highest one. I shot for the highest one, knowing that it does come with some caveats. I'll give you what those are. NVH, noise, vibration, harshness. All of that, I don't know, mind my neighbor driving by, no exhaust. What can you do? NVH, noise, vibration, harshness. That all gets increased. I don't want to say exponentially, but you're moving the needle up. You're not moving it down. Down is OEM. Don't change the OEM one. None of this applies. You change it to an 85A like I did, and when you start the car, you will immediately going to understand that you made some changes. There was vibration. A friend of mine, a gentleman I know, name is David Lee. He actually wanted to take a ride with me when I had the 85A, but we haven't been able to arrange that. Now I switched to 60A, so he might see this video and be like, bruh. So, listen, we can still take a ride. What you get is all the vibrations that you normally wouldn't feel when you start the car, from like the transmission, from the mounts, from the motor mounts, from the engine idling, they're going to come through. Now, for some people, any additional vibrations that they feel or hear, they're not going to like. I didn't get an excessive amount of rattling or anything like that. I didn't get like panels shaking off at the steering wheel doing it, but I'm not going to lie. You will see the rear view mirror shaking. You're going to hear some things moving around. If you got change in the cup holder, it's shaking around. If you got a cup of water in there, you're going to be like, okay, this is really moving around. And in the first initial 500 to 1,000 miles, it's probably at its most harsh level because it's so new and the bushing does have to break in some. So I felt all of that. The worst that you feel it is really like first gear and reversing, especially if you're coming off of a light, if you're trying to go up a driveway, if you're coming out of a parking spot. That really low 500 RPM or 1,000 RPM and under is where you get all the vibration. You're getting all the harshness. You're getting all the noise from it, because that is when the engine is vibrating or moving the most. When you start moving, when you're getting up to speed, is when you get that other side, right? It's like a Sour Patch Kid. First you're sour, now we're sweet. So on the sweet side of it is when you're hard driving, back roads, canyon, shifting hard, you get no movement. You don't feel the transmission almost like skip a beat. You don't feel like you're about to miss a shift. You feel everything really connected solid. Now, obviously, I have a Forge Motorsports short shifter, and I have the 2J Racing shifter bushings, and I have bushing mounts that are on the basically the cradle of the shifter assembly. So a lot of what I'm feeling too is an increased level of directness with what I'm feeling. But for anybody else that takes it from OEM to just this and they have the standard shifter, you're going to get that same directness. You won't have so much slop. And that may not be the right term, because the GR Corolla in general isn't a sloppy feeling car. But what I'm saying is, if you do feel something where you're like, it feels like there's some extra movement there, a lot of that gets removed. And depending on how far up the chain you go when it comes to the bushing setting is how much you're going to remove that movement. But like I said, you get the NVH. So for the 10,000 miles that I've been riding this car, after the first 1,000, it did soften up a lot. I mean, there will be some days, depending on how you drive or depending on if you're in sport mode where the engine revs or reacts faster, it drove even better. If you're in like normal mode, a lot of that low RPM vibration will kind of still be there, but it reduced itself down a fair amount. I don't want to say like in half, but let's just say let's just say I lost about 20% of that harshness, 20 to 30% after the initial break-in. And it made it very livable, because during that time, at no point in time was I like, man, I don't really know how I like this car. I would take my wife out on date nights. She'd be in the car and she wouldn't even say anything changed. Some people, like my friend, he drove in the car, my friend Elliot, Liddy Shack. If you haven't subscribed, go subscribe to that channel. He got in the car and immediately thought I made like a new exhaust, because you can hear the vibration or the noise from it. But he was like, nothing feels bad. He's like, it's like it's more solid. It just feels like kind of race car-y, in a way. You kind of get all these new feelings and stuff when you're driving it. So most of the experience I had from passengers who had no idea what I did, I would just ask them. I drove with a gentleman at work. We'd go to lunch. He'd get in the car and they'd be like, man, this thing feels fun. So it wasn't like you went from luxury, like standard car to like a beater. Like you're like, yo, this thing feels bad, it sounds bad. Everybody can kind of feel like this buzz where you're like, okay, this car is doing something else that normal cars don't do. I like that. It's hard to quantify that. It's hard to describe it. Anybody that can kind of relate to what I'm saying probably understands what I mean when I say that buzzy, visceral experience. People that drive muscle cars, big blocks of chop, those type of things, the chop on the LS, the shaking of the engine, you're sitting in the old car, or those type of things. Car people, it's hard to explain to us that don't know. It's hard to explain it to you. So that's kind of the feeling you got. That's in the GR Corolla. Obviously, this isn't some muscle car. This ain't no V8 in here. But from that standpoint, you got like that buzzy, visceral experience with it. Now, I just switched it to the 60A. I was going to do a video with me driving the car, but it's already getting kind of dim and light out here. It might not even be, I may not even be in that great of a light right now. I'm going to have to brighten up this video possibly. And going from 85A to 60A is like, it's another night and day jump. Like I started the car and I was like, I don't hear nothing. I'm not going to lie though. I've been so used to the 85A one that I kind of at first was like, oh man, I kind of missed that little buzzy feeling, that little visceral side of the car. It made it feel kind of rally-ish. It felt more raw. There you go. That's a better term. It felt more raw. And I like that in cars. I don't necessarily have to be isolated from the road noise and things. Other people, that is what they want. They want kind of a more, I don't want to say softer experience, but the rawness they might want dialed back a bit. And that's where those ratings on those mounts and those bushings is going to play a role in how raw the car may feel. So I drove around for a little bit with the 60A. It feels better than OEM. So don't think that I'm losing any performance. And I got this bushing from Grocery Getter Performance. If you have their mount, they sell bushings separately, so you don't have to worry about buying a whole nother mount. It feels flawless again. And their stuff is high quality. And so when I went to drive it, again, I'm like, this feels solid. I'm not losing any. Haven't gained any extra slop or any extra, directness, or the engine isn't moving, feel like it's moving more. I'm not losing how it was shifting before. Now, granted, I didn't jump on my normal back roads. I didn't really go down the road at the clip I could do just to test how it feels. But my initial experience is that I haven't lost anything. And what I have gained back is less of that NVH and to make a little quieter. Now, after this video is done and I close out and tell y'all have a good night and go kiss your babies good night, I'm actually taking a road trip up to Dallas. So the next time I update this, and I'll probably do it on my podcast, I'll tell you how it went. I got a 4-hour drive. I'm going up there to take care of some business work related. And I'm going to drive my car up there. Maybe I stop at Import Face Off that's happening in Ennis, Texas. I don't know. Maybe not. But I will know fully how this has felt compared to the miles and miles I put on an 85A to a 60A. I won't have to do another 10,000. I immediately can already feel the benefits of going 60A with the benefits of having a stiffer mount compared to OEM. So this is very good. Now, to understand where those other higher mounts come in to wrap this up, 85A and 90A and 100A, I believe I've heard of one of those. Those are really designated for track use because of how hard you're driving the car on a track. And you can swap out the mounts, though I wouldn't want to swap the mounts out constantly because I feel like that just be it'd be a little extra for a street driven car unless you just have some quick access to the tools, or maybe you don't have all those under panel pieces there and you can just get to it right away. It's made and aimed for the track, those higher bushing ratings. But if you're a person that likes to drive, like I said, visceral, you're on the back roads, you're on the country roads, you're in the canyons, some of that experience that you get on the track does relate well to being on the street and driving a car in a spirited manner. So I'll be up in the hill country. I'm going to be somewhere. I'm going to take a little bit of a route to have some fun with it. But from my experience so far, a short time, the 60A1 feels great. It is a great medium between someone worried about adding too much NVH or too much rawness to their car for a street-driven daily driver, but it gives them the benefits of why we change out those bushings and change out that mount for something that is stiffer all around and performs better. So listen, I ain't got nothing else to add. If you want to try one of these out, I say go and do it. They're not expensive. It's pretty inexpensive modification that directly relates to how the car drives. Don't believe me? Look on the Facebook group for the GR Corollas. There are plenty of people that already showed this mount. They've added to it. They've put it on their car. They've talked about it. I'm not the only person. I'm one of the few that put a video up talking about it. And that's it, man. I mean, listen, there's more to come. That was a simple one. Like I always say, like, subscribe, check out the video, check out the podcast as always, because that's really my love and that's my push, is my podcast. And I'll be back with the episode on Sunday. It's going to be about the SEMA one. So check this out. I'm going to upload this tonight. Just throw it out there for you guys. And do as you wish and do as you may. I'm out. I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat and talk to my family, see what they're doing. They're probably wondering where I'm at. I'm looking at my son, looking out the window. I've been in the driveway chilling. And I'm out.